D&D Beyond now fits in the palm of your hand with the free D&D Beyond app. It's the perfect toolset for beginners, regular players, and seasoned dungeon masters. Play faster with the guided character creator and access your character sheets, spells, and abilities wherever you go. All of your adventures and source books are at your fingertips, even when you're offline. Easily find and access the rules you need when you need them. With more features to come, download the free D&D Beyond app today.
Welcome to another wonderful D&D Beyond dev update. I'm Joe. I'm the content clown here at D&D Beyond and Phantom Tabletop. Very excited to be with you guys here this morning. Thank you guys so much for being here with us. I did start the game. Okay, as soon as I started the show, I was like, did I start the game? It's like the most important part of the show. I did start it. Amazing. Today we're going to be talking all about the new D&D Beyond consolidated app. We are bringing in Dawid Pietrala, who was in charge of putting it all together, and so we're going to be getting some insight from him as to everything it does and why it does all the things it does and what it could do in the future. Although the first thing I will tell you watching that is it's not available to download now. We're aiming for like next weekish, unless there's a huge natural disaster. But what you can do now, and we have links in the chat, is to download, if you haven't already, the current player app, and then the current player app will just morph from sweet little baby egg into a beautifully fully formed Mothra. So please make sure you guys do that. Let's go through our timeline today. Sound good? So here's our sort of timeline of events coming through. I want to walk you guys through this a little bit. Now, of course, you can order Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft pre-order, and that will come with all of the cool, usual perks that we give with those pre-orders. I have heard the concepts for the digital dice. I shouldn't talk about them, but they sound really, really cool and really, really like fun and very like gothic horror. So I think those are going to be really, really cool. Also, dice rolling on monster stat blocks for the encounter builder and the combat tracker available as of this morning. We are go. So that is in alpha. Therefore, it is available to subscribers only. But let me talk to you a little bit about the feature. So if a monster stat block has a value that can be used for a dice roll, you can roll that dice. So hit points, ability score checks, proficiency checks, saving throws, attack rolls, damage, healing, recharges, random other miscellaneous rolls. If something shoots acid out of its eyeballs, or whatever, the dice roll is going to have you covered there. Of course, as you guys know, the encounter builder and the combat tracker, accessible from the tools area on the mega menu on top of the page. So make sure you guys go check that out. A lot of people have worked really hard to make that happen, and we are super stoked about it. And there's also going to be at some point some literature made available for how to adapt homebrew to that as well. But right now, if that monster is in a book, you can roll dice on it. So we're super stoked about that. We hope you guys enjoy it. Coming soon. As we're speaking about today, the consolidated app launch with spell management is coming. We're going to deep dive into that. Jasper's Game Week is coming up as well. A really incredible event. We met Fenway Jones, the founder of that organization, last week. And again, I appreciate you guys hanging out for that show. I know that it wasn't a traditional, hey, we're talking about features for the tool set, but it's a cause that's important to me. I think it's a cause that's important to the community, and we're either, looking out for each other or we're not, so I appreciate you guys hanging out, watching that show, and talking with Fenway with me. So I really, really appreciate that. We're actually dropping a link in chat throughout. I'll actually be DMing a table with some very, very cool people. So if you want to bid for a spot at that table, jump in. I think it's going to be a good time. It's going to heavily involve rabbit folk. As a spoiler alert for that one shot. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Next week, Anthony Pegg, our Senior Director of Product Management, is going to be joining the dev update. For folks who have been like, we haven't had enough like giant dev updates, here you go, man. I'm bringing in one of the boss of bosses. He's going to be talking a lot about sort of what he slacked me as phase 2 of D&D Beyond. Take with that what you will. So he's going to be chatting a lot about what that means and also doing just like some straight Q&A with you guys. So make sure you come check that out. It's going to be a big one. Let's see here. Soonish. Van Richten's Guide pre-order perks will get revealed kind of soonish. So, we mentioned earlier, obviously, that they exist. What they're actually going to look like, hopefully, we will be able to show you guys soon. Again, the team's hard at work getting all of that done. It's wild how insanely hard all of these people work and the fact that they don't sleep. Also soonish, and this is also something we'll be talking about on the dev update soon, is our new feedback flow. Obviously, we tell you all the guys all the time, and I see the unending Slack notifications to prove it. When you guys have a piece of feedback, we hear it and it gets passed along, right? Just there's a constant just ding, 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 ding on my Slack, because whether it's the forums or the Discord, or a YouTube comment or a tweet, it gets passed upward, it gets seen, right? But what we're trying to do is really sort of maximize and optimize two of my favorite words from Transformers Beast Wars, the way we receive that feedback and make sure it gets to the right people. And so we want to talk to you guys about it specifically because, the dev update audience, we get most of our feedback from you guys, quite frankly. So we're going to have someone come on and sort of talk about how all of that is going to work. Also, Melly, who I believe is a part of a nationwide Canadian internet outage. I don't know if it's nationwide. It might just be your house. I don't know. Couldn't join us, but she would punch me virtually in the face if I didn't also make sure that you guys knew that we are looking for new mods. We're looking to expand that team. Our community team is hugely important here. Our moderators have built such a really incredible atmosphere and environment here, whether it's on site or on the Discord or in the Twitch stream. Hey, gang. Or, on our YouTube comments or on Twitter, just everywhere. They've just built such a really inviting and warm atmosphere. And to me, that's what DDD. That's what D&D is all about. To me, and tabletop role playing is all about. Is just a really cool, dare I say, safe place to get together at a table and escape your day and tell stories together. And they've done such an incredible job creating that kind of vibe here. And we're expanding that team. So if you're interested, I am sure that a moderator in chat who is much smarter than me will be explaining how throughout this dev update. Join that exclusive team of incredible people, and have Melly as a captain. There are worse bosses you can have than someone who is as wonderful as her. And then finally, coming down the road soonish this year, really cool things that I can't talk to you about because I'll be assassinated in my room. My wife and my cats will be activated as sleeper agents, and I will be destroyed. However, need I remind you that Anthony Pegg, our Senior Director of Product Management, will be on the dev update next week and doing some Q&A, and maybe you can ask him some sneaky tough questions that he can't wriggle his way out of. Just saying, just throwing it out as an idea. Make sure you guys join us next week. All that said, I'm going to take a breath because I haven't taken a breath in 6 minutes. I'm going to sip a cup of coffee. Welcome to the show. Make sure that you guys get your questions in. Obviously, we'll be taking some questions for David. And speaking of David, one of our senior product managers here oversees all of our mobile functions for the D&D Beyond tool set. David, sir, get on in here. Welcome to the show, man.
Hello. Hello. Greetings from Poland. Dzień dobry. Dzień dobry. Yeah, it's still the day. So yeah, hello.
Well, I'm super excited to have you here, and I have to full disclosure say that you gave my dumb Kentucky mouth an out, and you said, if you just call me David, I'll feel like a native English speaker, and I cowardly took that out. But thank you so much for being here. You and I have been bonding over painted minis and all that kind of good stuff. So that's been super fun. But tell us a little bit about yourself. Obviously, you are a man of wonderful taste and cool hobbies, just based on the incredible bookshelf behind you. But tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Oh yeah, thank you for inviting me. Actually, it's so great to speak to everyone and to just communicate with the community, because I have been trying to do this through the forum, and it's great that we can do it live today. So as you said, I'm Dawid. This is the pronunciation, but you did very well with David. I'm fine with it. I come from Poland. I live near the city that is called Poznań, which is in the western Poland. And I represent the team, the mobile team, who's mainly from Poznań too. The majority of us live either in Poznań or nearby. And I have been working at Fandom since August 2019, which is more than 1.5 years ago. Yeah. And I have been playing RPG games since I was 15, which is around 20 years ago. And but I had breaks. I had breaks because at some point I felt like, well, I'm too serious for playing RPG games. Then I joined Fandom, and it turned out that, well, I had an inner child in me. So this is absolutely great. And I'm responsible at Fandom. I'm responsible for mobile apps. I'm a product manager responsible for mobile apps, and I have been building apps for 9 years already as an iOS developer originally, and then I became a product person, first as a product owner, and I'm a product manager. And what's important is that my team is responsible not only for the DDB app, but also for the flagship Fandom app. So we sometimes need to do things into different areas. But in fact, our main focus right now is the DDB app. And it's really exciting to do a lot in this app, and to be able to just deliver something that is useful for our community.
Which is a very polite way of saying you guys have been drowning in work for the past several months. So let's sort of jump into it. So right now we have the reader app, the player app. Those things are being consolidated into one. Let's just start walking through, like, what are the features, in the new consolidated app? What can everybody expect? What can everybody be looking for?
Right. So our goal, in fact, with the mobile is that we want, I dream of the situation in which the only thing that you need to do to play D&D is your mobile phone, right? The only physical device that you need is your mobile phone. So we wanted to have a single app that would bring this experience in the most seamless way. So you don't need to switch between apps in order to browse sources and also access your character sheets, but it would be a single app. That's why we wanted this experience to be as consistent as possible. So we decided that with the character sheets that we already have in the Player Tools app, we're going to bring the same functionality that exists in the Reader app, and fix some of the items that needed to be fixed. So we just made it, as I said, consistent in terms of the behavior, of the look and feel. We made some improvements as well. So it should be a single app that has two different, let's say, pieces of functionality, but it should be as smooth as possible. And this also gives us the ability to, access not only your character sheets anytime, anywhere, but also your source books. So you'll be able to download them. You will be able to use them offline, on the go. And this is something that we really dreamt of, and it seems that it's coming to life. And the truth is that we have been waiting with this consolidation for quite a while, because the Reader app already existed. It was there. If someone wanted to use it, they could. So we first needed to focus on our players, because we wanted to give them access to their character sheets. And then once we released it, we needed to develop the app, and we needed to supply it with enough functionality. Things are still missing, and we are working on these for sure, and we are going to continue working on this on these items. But the app is maturing, and at some point we decided, okay, so now we have players who should be happy. Now maybe let's take more care about our DMs as well. So we started to add this consolidated experience as well, and that's generally it. So what you could expect, you could expect that you're going to have the existing experience of the Player Tools app, and you're going to have, in addition to that, the experience of the Reader app. But as I said, it's polished, it's consistent, and it's going to be all in a single app.
Well, one of the things I thought was really cool with the sort of the updates to the Reader end of it is the search is really kind of nice and smooth and optimized. And then bookmarking I thought was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So we did our best with bookmarks to let you create these bookmarks, to group them by folders. You will be able to edit these items as well. So if you at some point decide that you want to rename the folder, or you want to regroup it, you can do it. This is one thing. And with the search functionality, as you said, this is also very important, that you will be able to search through things. You will be able to quickly access them. It is also going to remember your recently viewed items. So you will be able to quickly access the things that you have already seen. There is also a robust search in the book. So you will be able to search through the book as well. There are options in which you can adjust the display of the book itself. So I know that there are many users who would prefer the light mode as well. So for reading, it's going to be available. So there are plenty of these options available that are going to be available in the app for sure. Yeah.
So on the player's end, what are some sort of like highlight features that people should be looking out for? Obviously, like the guided character creator is really cool. There's dice rolling, but what are some of the main events that folks should be looking out for?
Yeah. So the app, as I said, is maturing. So we are going to be adding more and more features, as we have been doing this since the release in July last year. So the next thing that you should be expecting is on Android, it's going to be equipment management. And it is going to happen very soon. With spell management on iOS, it's still under development, as I a few days ago informed on the forum. So we are still working on it. It's spell management, I must say, it's complicated not only in the game. It's also complicated in terms of development. So it's taking time, but it's on its way. We realize that it's a must-have feature together with equipment management. So we are doing our best to just deliver it as quickly as possible. So that, well, as I said, the only physical device you're going to need in order to play D&D is going to be a mobile phone.
Which is really, really cool. So, you talked about spell management on iOS is probably coming. Are there any sort of features on the roadmap ahead? And my cat would also very much like to know. Are there any sort of like features on the roadmap ahead that are coming that you can kind of tease for people to be looking out for?
Yeah, as I said, well, we are going to be, first of all, we're going to be working on web parity as well, because a lot of cool stuff is being released by other teams, and they are available on the web. So we have things that are released by Pat, by Andrew, that you spoke with a few weeks ago. And we need to catch up with these items as well. And this is, I think that this is the toughest part of my job. At some point, I need to aggressively decide, okay, this thing is going to be shipped. This thing needs to wait. And so all the things that they discussed are gonna in some form be available in the app too. We just don't want users in the app to feel in any way excluded. So we're going to give them the functionality. And sometimes the polishing needs to wait, but we're going to do our best to just let them get these items in the app. And for the things that I would like to mention or to tease, as I said, we are going suddenly to take care of our DMs as well. So once the app is no longer a player tools app, but it's going to be a D&D Beyond app. So it's going to be the app. We certainly will also take care of some of the functionality that is going to be available for that.
Amazing. I've actually got, if you're okay with it, I've got some questions from chat.
Sure.
And I just lost it. Hey, here we go. This is from a question from Tidowin. And he asks, will the new app have a note section available? Or are there plans for that?
There are certainly plans for this, because this is a very important feature, I believe. So yeah, this is certainly on the roadmap, but it's not going to be part of the consolidated app yet. But I'm quite sure that it's going to happen at some point. It's certainly on the roadmap, and we just need a bit more time to add this feature. Yeah.
Well, I have a question. Is there anything that's like not on the roadmap, and this is pure, sort of fantasy booking, like speculation, like pure, just like vision board kind of stuff, territory that we're entering. But is there anything that any just like dream items that you have for the app? Like, hey, if I had unlimited budget and, just like a giant, massive, team working on this, what are your dream items that you'd sort of like to see on the app?
A DM itself. So I would like to have a DM so that I could play just with my phone, and I would have a mobile DM that would be guiding an adventure for me. So this is a big dream.
That's actually really cool.
Indeed it is. Well, what I would think about in this, I've never thought about. Well, I think that's something with augmented reality, something that would allow you to just be able to see things on your table and share them with others. This is something that may at some point happen, but I don't think we are ready for this yet. There are other things that are, let's say, more important at this point. But I think that something that would be really cool with augmented reality would sometime happen. And if I was to find something that would be really fancy that I would like to try as a kind of an experiment, this would be something like this. Yeah.
Another question from chat. Adernus asks, there we go. Will we need to re-download the whole compendium when the player app is updated to include the compendium app?
So I think that what he or she means is the books. So yes, if you are gonna update the Player Tools app and you're gonna have the consolidated app, you will need to re-download all your books. That's for sure. Yeah, because this is a different app, so it can't share, or it would be very tough to share data between the two apps. So yes, you will certainly need to download these items for sure.
Awesome. Let's see. We had a couple people ask.
But if I may, your bookmarks are gonna get automatically imported. So you still have your bookmarks. I could see that there was a question in the under the article. So yeah, bookmarks are gonna be imported automatically.
Monty Hall 10 asks, Dear Monty, will monster dice rolling be available in the new combined app?
Not at this point. But as I said, this is going to be part of this DM care that we are planning. So not yet, but it's there. It's planned.
Amazing. And then I think it's just sort of thematically along with that, Reikio 407 has the same question about the combat tracker and the encounter builder.
Exactly the same thing. So these items are just on their way. I can't say when exactly, but they're part of our plans, and you can stay tuned.
Amazing. Let's see here. I'm just looking for any other questions. A few people asking about more DM features, which I think we've kind of talked about. Let me ask you this. What is, as the new app releases, what feature or, sort of addition or shiny new thing are you kind of the most proud of the team pulling off?
With the consolidated app or with the app overall?
With the consolidated, or well, the app overall.
Yeah. So I think that first of all, the dice, it was a game changer to many because this was something that was really necessary in order for you to be able to just go and start playing with the app only. So digital dice were great, I think, and I was so happy that we could release it, and we did this. And we did this, and we released it quite fast compared to what we expected originally. Same happened. Same was with the game log. The game log was also an interesting thing, and we are currently testing it thoroughly. So we're going to be providing probably some enhancements to it. So this is also something that is an item that I think that is important. And from my conversations with users, I also think that the fact that we have already shipped spell management to Android and equipment management is on its way. This is also very important because these are items that are necessary for you to just go and start playing. So these items are also important. And generally, the fact that even though it's difficult to keep the balance between the things that we need to be catching up with in terms of the fact that the app was published 2 years after the sheet was available on the web, even though we are catching up with all the functionality, the core sheet functionality, we also managed to find time to also catch up with the latest additions to DDB itself. So I think that the fact that we are managing this is also, I think it's a good thing. And I'm so proud of the team that they're, putting so much effort into just trying to keep the balance. So, kudos to my team.
Well, I mean, the work you guys have been putting into this is wild. I think we have time for 2 more questions. Geezer Frog asks, this is kind of fun. Are there, and a lot of these questions are kind of like, hey, is this sort of random is sort of a negative word, but what about this idea? Or what about this idea? And a lot of times the answer is like, no, not quite yet. But I also like being able to ask these questions because I feel like it gives the community sort of a little bit of insight to where we might be going, and where your guys' heads are at, involving ideas like this. So Geezer Frog asks, are there any plans for a digital DM screen? Basically functions like a character sheet, but with tabs for notes, locations, NPCs, et cetera, et cetera. This is probably a tool set question in general, but we can sort of focus it in on the app.
Yeah. So this is a very interesting question because one of the things that when we were having a discussion within the team, how we could, for instance, help DMs, we are very seriously analyzing how we could actually extend the capability of DDB with the app itself. So this is something that we are seriously analyzing and considering that, items that cannot fit into DDB because there are so many awesome things happening at the same, at that time, I think that we could try to fit into the app as well. So items some of the items that you mentioned, they are very seriously being analyzed as part of this DM, let's say, focus in the app as well. So this is something that we are. I can't say that all of these items, but some of these items, such as the ability to preview your player characters, and also preview other character sheets. This is certainly something that is there on the roadmap, and it's there, and it's going to get shipped at some point. So first, for sure, yes.
All right, let me get my cat's very excited about mobile app conversation. I apologize.
No worries.
Working from home. When we go back to an office, I'm just going to bring her and find out what happens. And this is kind of interesting. Alwyn asks, and this is sort of a tool set question, but let's sort of focus it on the app. I would like to know what method you use for prioritizing your backlog. And the second half of the question I can answer for you, and then we can sort of talk about how the app team is prioritizing. Over the past few years, sometimes it feels like priorities were not what your majority was vocally asking for. We've talked about this a little bit on the show, I think. Sometimes a feature is asked for and it's like, cool, yeah, we could sort of do that, but the sort of philosophy and idea sort of moving forward with the tool set is that no feature is an island, right? How do they play with each other? How do they connect with each other? How do they move everything forward, as a whole? How do they enhance, the experience kind of moving forward? How do they all sort of tie together in the roadmap moving forward? So, a lot of features I think folks are asking for are part of a ladder to sort of get to something much bigger. So, it's not quite as binary as we've asked for X, but you guys delivered Y. They're all sort of part of the same equation. And I hope our product team is proud of me for answering that question as best as I can, because I am just a professional joke boy. But that said, David, I'd love to know sort of what methods are you guys sort of using to prioritize that roadmap moving forward? I know, obviously that DM support is very important and stuff like that, but is there sort of a method to the madness in terms of like what's coming?
There are various ways we do that, and we need to balance these out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, we just sit together and we just analyze all different sources of feedback we get. It's the forum, it's the socials, it's us talking to our users, and also our own experiences. Lots of things that we take into account, and we also take these voices from customers that are submitted, and we can see that they are repeating. And then we also we very often, and we actually all the time, analyze what the root problem is. Not necessarily that we want this and we're going to deliver this, but we also try to understand, okay, what's behind the need for this, and we then try to address the need for that, and address the problem, the opportunity, not only the request for the specific feature. So this is something that we do. And another thing that I must say is that we also monitor how people use the tools. And when we see sometimes the requests are not corroborated in what the majority actually would try to use or are actually trying to achieve. So this is also something that we analyze. So it's a difficult, well, for mobile especially, this is a difficult piece because, well, as I said, we are still trying to catch up. We are not in the position where we can say, yeah, we are on a par with the web, for instance. We have all the functionality as the web, so we can now focus on the mobile specific features. We still need to, well, I still need to look at what Pat, what Andrew, what others are doing. I still need to look at what is our backlog of the items that we need to catch up with. And I also look at these mobile specific features, and I try to balance these out and to just provide the thing that I believe is going to resolve the problem of our users, not necessarily just do, okay, they're telling me this, I'm going to do this immediately. This wouldn't be, well, I once heard that product management is kind of an art in which you need to understand the problem and you need to address the problem. And this is something that we need to always take into account, right? Not only just do what people are expecting, but also think how we could do it better in order to give them what they need and also resolve the problem properly.
Yeah, almost kind of stay a few steps ahead of the actual sort of request. I think that's a really cool way of looking at it. And I think that's our show today. Thank you so much for. I think that kind of sums it all up. Thank you so much for giving me some of your time. I know that you're super busy, and I know the community really appreciates anytime any of you guys come on to sort of chat about the tool set and what's coming and how it all works. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Joe. Thank you for inviting me, for giving me the chance to just speak to the community, and thanks everyone for watching.
And hey guys, remember again, next week on the show right here on the Dev Update, Anthony Pegg, our Senior Director of Product Management, will be joining us. So be thinking about your hardball questions to just really zing the guy. I'm going to start getting Slack messages from him any minute now asking him why I'm doing this to him. But yeah, start getting those questions together, get ready, and we will see you guys here next week on the Dev Update. Bye, everybody. Take care of each other.
Ha 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 ha!